Welcome to Coached Soul, a podcast for a better you. Your host, Steve Hudgens, is a licensed professional counselor. On a non-emergency basis, you may contact them at area code 918-280-8690 or coachsoul.com to provide them with new topics, feedback, or to request an appearance on the show. And now, here's your host, Steve Hudgens.
Hey, welcome back. Last week was a great topic to talk about leadership, motivation, communicator, and unifier. And one of the things, Kenya, that I would like to kind of bring out is we could talk all day about these things. You and I know how to be that leader, but how does one create the desire to become the leader, especially if we're stuck in a place of ick?
I love this question, and I'm just gonna start like straight to the point. What is your amount of desire to change? How much gasoline do you have in your car? Because if you have $1 worth of gasoline, you're gonna get to the traffic light and stop. That's why goal setting doesn't work. Oh, I have a vision, let's do this. And then, the end of January and you're already not going to the gym. The end of January and you're still cursing. And whatever it is, you didn't have fuel enough. There was not enough of desire of to get going. And sometimes, and again, I'm just going to say it, sometimes the desire is fueled by the amount of pain that you're at. There is no freaking way I will have the same year that I had in 2023. No way. So whatever it takes. So it might be, see, when you know who I am, you know that I have become this person because of so much pain. I have mastered, and I am saying master, the forever knowledge, because I'm always going to be evolving a frequency, energy, and energy and vibration, because I noticed that I was living in such low vibration and I thought it was me. And it felt so heavy. And it felt so heavy because, yes, it was me, but it was so heavily generational. It was so hard to change because every woman in my lineage had the same outcome. Oh, man. Good with them, worse without them. I mean, that was my positive message about relationship. Oh, become a mother is to suffer in paradise. That was my message about mothering. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
It does, and it passes down to generation. And, that's the reason, part of the reason of writing my book called The Journey, Not the Destination. Chapter 2 talks about the baggage, the emotional baggage that we tend to carry around. And it just soaks into part of what we call our identity at times too.
Yes.
But to have that desire, Kenya, when I was diagnosed with 34% chance of living, and, here I am, the spouse has left due to the diagnosis. And so just one thing after another, the
That's right.
hospital that I was working at as a director, it closed. And so here I am in a pit of despair. What do you do with this?
You tell
And
me.
I chose not to stay in the muck. That I saw myself as a warrior, as a survivor, and that's the reason why I wrote The Journey.
As a leader,
Life is a journey, right? It's how do we vision, how do we look at ourselves? So as a motivator, communicator, unifier of my own life, the desire to be better than where I was, but it took the experience. I didn't shave my head. A lot of people shave their head. I watched my hair to fall out because I wanted to know what that experience was like. So that when I am in therapy, I can talk to other people who are going through cancer.
So what I hear you saying is that you embrace the experience.
Yes.
and you took the lessons. So your
And
question here is how to feel if you don't have the ugh. You
and I
tell me.
know that this is not for everybody.
No.
I did this because I wanted to have an experience. And through this experience, it created a desire of zest for life that even though I go through this pain, oh my gosh, it's life. Life is pain. If life wasn't pain, we'd be in heaven because there is no pain in heaven, right? And so when I think about if we embrace the where we are, it creates the desire to rise above
Mhm.
or to embrace where we are.
With that said, Steve, you said life is pain. In that moment, for sure, you're going through pain,
Yes,
but life is also, I'm living a new day to tell the story.
agree.
So you embrace the vision of a new day that was not painful. And this is what I want to anchor our audience today. What is your anchor of truth when you're down and you want to see yourself as a leader, but I don't know, not even where to start. You start by choosing you.
And that's what I had to do.
Yeah,
You're right.
even sing it out loud. I choose me. Disconnect and detach from the how. Let the how to God. Let the how to your angels. Connect with you, the little boy in you, the
But
little
part of
girl in
that,
you.
though, Kenya, a part of leadership that we need to bring into this, to sow into this message, is
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
Believing in yourself. When I started believing in myself that this is not going to last, I had my checkup today or the other day with the
Yes.
with the
Yes.
VA.
Yes. I
Yeah.
remember.
The doc says that I am cancer free. I'm going on 5 years of cancer free.
Wow. What a
And
miracle.
the blood work, everything is good. No chance of cancer coming back. I'm
Mhm.
cured. And so we may think that our valley is very dark and bleak when we go through these things. But if we can be mindful when we're going through pain, that we can have the desire
Mhm.
of more. And
Yeah.
here I am of being my own boss, podcaster, international best-selling author. I hear your life is a lot more. And by 2024, I should be known as Dr. Steve. And, it's what do you do after that? Life continues. And so it's recreating or creating a path, a journey of desire.
I want to give our listeners a visual and a vision,
Yes.
because everything that you said, it's so palpable. And I love when you share through stories, because I just love storytelling, and actually ingrains in me more truth. So thank you for your truth. I'm sure the listeners appreciate as well. Um, I said something about connecting with the little person in you, your younger version. And I'm assuming that when you are, I don't like to use the word assuming, I'm visualizing that when you were littler, you experience more freedom. You experience more curiosity. You
Oh,
experience
sure.
more playfulness and passion. So I wanted to connect with that version of you and connect as this is me, because it is. If you feel stuck, it's because you're disconnect from your playfulness, from your
Mm.
capability of being resourceful. It is a shadow, guys. Come on now. Do you actually have an anchor in your feet that you can go up the stairs? No. Who told you you're stuck? Well, if you're stuck, well, then feel unstuck. Go through your next motion of prayer meditation and ask God and the Holy Spirit to pull you to the best vision of you. Walk through your perfect day. What would it look like, your perfect day? Oh, I don't even know what you think. Great, then that's your homework. If you cannot sit with me and Steve or yourself and walk us through your perfect day, you don't know what you want. You
I
don't know
had,
what the heck you want.
when you were
If
talking
you
about
don't know
that,
what the heck you want, where are you even going? Where's your compass?
The visual that I had
Please
was
do.
an elephant. They chain an elephant. And when they remove the chain, the elephant still thinks it's chained. We're bigger than elephants. And so it's remembering that we don't have this chain anymore, that
You
we have the
don't.
freedom.
You don't. And if your parents didn't do, and if your grandparents didn't do, and now you are a parent, may I please invite you to take charge in your own hands and break the chain for the entire lineage. And the way you do that is by being the one that allows your wings to spread, in the sense that, I don't know if you have the desire to be a world changer, but you can certainly change your world. And when you change your world, you change for your children. You change
So
the
can you,
visual possibility of, here it is. This
how,
is me expressing me.
how do you create that desire? Especially if you are a
Vision for
victimhood.
me, it
Okay.
was pain, right? The way I started was pain. Like, I don't know what to do, but it cannot be it. I don't know what the answer is, but it's not that. So you actually started by knowing what you don't want. This is an honest exercise that I do with my clients. If you
Okay.
don't know what you want, go first and list what you don't want, because the odds are what you want is the opposite of what you don't want. So you
Okay.
start with that. And as you look at, wow, the things that you want, see how it feels to look at that paper. Does it feel possible? Does it feel so far away that you don't even want to look at it because you were 40, 50, 60, 70, and you just thought it would be so much farther along? Whatever is the feeling, be with the feeling. Just like Steve, he was being with the feeling that his hair was falling off. Like, where is this coming from? The self-judgment that I need, I should have, da, da, da. Where does it come from? And surrender. If I can give you one tip to become, is to surrender. To surrender. To surrender the expectations, to surrender the vision, but please have a vision. Have you heard about the story of Walt Disney? Penniless. How did he even started creating? And I'm not going down to what Disney World has become. I'm talking about the original vision. It all starts with vision.
Right.
A vision that you can't become a leader. A vision that no one has chosen me, but I choose me. I was not picked first, but you know what? I'll put me first over my children. Yes, I did say that out loud on a podcast. Because if I don't pick me, they will never pick them.
That's
So I
that
do the.
communicator
Mhm,
within the leadership
mhm,
of doing this positive self-talk or any kind of self-talk to help you to walk through of creating this space of realizing there is this vision that you're not the product of the sum of things that are around you either. Because you can walk out of that situation and grow. I used to think that, and I hear therapists all the time, well, I'm afraid to do uh to be by myself as a therapist because how do I get the clients in? How do I make the income that I need? And so when I transitioned from engineering and went into working for an inpatient, and it had to push me
mm,
out of the W-2 mindset of a corporate world. And I love where I am because I
mm,
embraced where I was and envisioned where I am to be. And if I want to take off next week or in a couple of weeks and go somewhere,
mhm.
I can do that. I set my own schedule because
So
of the vision, the desire to do so.
I love everything you said, Steve. I just want to kindly disagree with not
Okay.
being a fruit of your environment, like your frequency, because what I have found is exactly the opposite. And I tell you in which area. In which
Okay.
area. If I am in my environment in a messy home, can I think straight?
No,
No,
you cannot.
because literally the clutter screams at me like, fold me, clean me, so you must create an environment. Once you decide what you want, you must have whatever it is, one little corner, your closet, if you work from home, something that reflects your inner world. Because I get that you don't live by yourself unless you do. I don't live by myself. I have, 5 kids and 2 dogs. So if I don't have my area that reflects me, I truly go crazy. I cannot create in the middle of chaos. Now, even if I am in the middle of the chaos, I am not the chaos, but I will certainly be influenced by the chaos and not be as creative and as clear as I can be if I am in an environment that reflects my inner world. So, with that said, as you're listening to this and you know that you're still in January, and by the way, I just want to set everyone free here that I'm not saying, hustle, hustle, take the bull by the horn and make 2024 conquer, conquer. It's not what I'm saying. Because every day, Steve, every day, listeners, feel the love in my voice. God has given us a visual beginning and end. Every day is a new day, sunset and sunrise, sunset and sunrise. You can decide any day. But today might be your last day. So I am also speaking with a sense of urgency. What if this year is your last year? Have you been on purpose? Have you created the environment, the love, the influence, the affluence? Why not you? I don't freaking care what you were told. You get to choose to tell yourself a new story. You get to write that book. Steve can help you. I can help you. You get to write that blog. You get to start the podcast. You get to share your brilliance. Please.
It's about believing in yourself that you can.
And surround yourself with people that believes in you if you don't believe yourself enough.
Right. And that's where I was going earlier with that. Sometimes we allow what happens to keep us chained as an elephant, as a product of that, right?
Yeah.
And we rise above that, knowing that we can. And that's the reason why sometimes I have to slough off. I know that's a bad expression, but that's the only way I know how to describe it, of friendships that were toxic to me. I didn't feel like being toxic. I don't like being negative.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear gossip about what some other person did. It's I want the positive energy of what we can do to create a happy environment.
Then that's you
Yes, that's
creating
me.
a powerful choice in your
Yes.
leadership. Not in a dynamic of drama, but in a dynamic of leadership. My choice is I choose to be around people that resonate my truth, that have the same values, that are going places that is parallel to where I'm going. That's powerful, Steve.
You know what's funny is that I've done a psychological experiment. In
Tell
other
me more.
words, there's a game, and I don't want to for copyright and legal reasons, but there's a game that you can download and play, and you have these different alliances that you get together with people.
Mm.
And I noticed that when one person begins to talk or push back, if they have other friends that are similar, like-minded, it grows from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. And then all of a sudden, you have a mob of people going against one person.
You're kidding me.
And it was phenomenal
Curious.
of how people can immediately belittle, put you down, just, pardon the expression, rape your emotions, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like major bullying.
It was major bullying online. And when I tried to contact the developers about this situation, they did nothing.
Interesting.
So I find it interesting as to, it's where do we put ourselves so that we can be a leader of ourselves? Are we going to drop into the mob mentality and we become what they want us to be? Or do we allow the pushback and to leave that behind? Because now I left that
100%.
alone, right? I'm not doing those games anymore. But I just found it interesting that when one person has a difference of opinion, it becomes toxic if
Mhm.
somebody doesn't like that opinion, even
So
though it was for the benefit of the good of the state, so to speak.
I love that, and I want to address this, and to be continuing another podcast about
Yes,
perception, because what I hear you saying is that your perception of the environment that you're at made you completely uncomfortable and you self-eject, which is beautiful. You are in your leadership, you can powerfully make a decision to not be part of something that you don't connect, that you're not an energetic match for it.
right.
So as you hear this, dear listeners, know that you are powerful to choose how and when. The the recipe here is not how are you doing, it's truly how you're being. And if you are in your alignment, if you're in your leadership, you can always check with your spirit, check with your heart palpitation, your open body or your closed body, your resistance or your flow. It's literally in your mannerisms, in the way you move. How is your breath? And knowing that just like a flower bloom and has a smell, the resonance of your choices is the leadership, is the magnetic ability to attract to people that are feeling, not just being, they are feeling the way you're feeling. So if you're feeling powerful, you attract powerful people. If you're
Right.
feeling like a victim, you attract more victim people. If you're feeling like a loser, you attract people like a loser and opportunities to create more evidence that that is your reality. So I know we're close to be complete with this episode. And before, I really want to finish by saying get clear in your vision. And no, you do not need to go for all 13 areas of human development like the wheel of life that every coach does it. Pick one area. Where are you today going to powerfully choose to be the one to create the change? Is that in your relationship with your loved one or your relationship with yourself? Is that in your career, you're actually really unhappy with your career and you really want to create something that you're passionate about? Is that in your body? Is that in your relationship with God? Where is your area? Please powerfully choose, because disconnect from the how. We'll talk about the how
Mhm.
later. But right now, dare to believe. Step into your leadership. Motivate yourself. See yourself. Communicate to yourself. The way you talk to yourself is the way you're going to talk to others. And be the unifier in this world, that I know with every cell of my body that if you are here, you're not here to survive. You're here to thrive.
Kenya, one of the things that when I think about a leader and I think about the spiritual aspect, it talks about wise counsel. That
Mm-hmm.
even as me for a leader, I choose you as a wise counsel because I know there's the best interest that's there. So in our leadership, to find that desire to be able to create that, it's also finding somebody who's a wise counsel, meaning that it's somebody who is looking at your best interest, that can give you the pros and cons of things, that can challenge your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we think about leadership, how often is it for someone to fall backwards into where they've been?
100%. Well, I have two words for that. Number one is a best friend that really truly see you. And number two is Ken and Steve and people like us. That's why I'm in business. I'm in business because I hold people high. I'm in business because I'm the reflection of their greatness. I as a coach, as a mentor, as a music therapist, as everything I do it because I can be in a place of neutrality with zero judgment and just support people to thrive and heal their relationships and heal the past and go towards the future powerfully. Same thing with all the couples that goes to you. I mean, they cannot just talking to friends and mother-in-law. They need somebody neutral that can hold them high. So my prayer is that you raise your hand. Raise your hand. Don't allow yourself to sink. There's plenty of opportunities right there for you to be embedded with the right information. And by right information, I mean high frequency environments like this podcast.
And part of
How are you
leadership,
listening? Yes.
I want to speak to men really quick because there's that notion that's out there that men just don't go seeking for help, or they don't go to counseling. They
I
don't talk
hope
about their
this changes.
emotions.
My goodness, no.
And that's a sign of weakness. I hate to point that out. If you get mad at me, okay, I know I hit a target. Man, I'm telling you, to be able to let that guard down, and if it helps, go to a man therapist that can help.
Yeah.
Because I know women will go out, majority of the women that I have come across will go to counseling because they look for growth and insight. Not saying that man can't either, but this kind of conversation we're having in this podcast about being a leader within your own self is setting yourself pride out. Take the pride out, take the ego out, and just say, you know what? I want to do better. I want to do better for 2024. I want to
Yes.
create this desire to be the motivator, the communicator, and the unifier for myself.
That's right.
And when we recognize that desire, one of the things that I recognize within my own life, that everything else falls into place. And when I recognize and embrace pain, sure, I have stress, but I manage the frequency of stress differently now than what I did 20 years ago when I wasn't a therapist.
That's right.
So until next time, have a great week and
Thank you for
be
being with
blessed.
us. Yes.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope to have you back next week. Until then, be safe and be kind.